Do you ever find yourself thinking, I wish I could do more for my community, but I just don't have enough time? Trust me, I've been there. And I'm not even going to say that it's an excuse because I do believe that many of us have valid reasons for why we may have less time and energy than others. But I want to remind you that this doesn't have to mean that you can't set aside 5 to 10 minutes to tend to your community. So for today's episode, I'm going to do something slightly ambitious, which is I'm going to share 10 acts of community care you can get done in 10 minutes or less. And I'm also going to try to keep this recording brief and keep it within the 10-minute mark. So let's get straight into it. Welcome to the award-winning Grad School Femtoring Podcast, the place for first-gen BIPOCs to listen in on inclusive grad school stories and learn about personal development and productivity tips. This is Doctora Yvette Martinez-Vu, a certified coach, consultant, and author, and I will be serving as your Femtor, providing you with insider knowledge to help you reach your personal and professional goals. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Grad School Femtoring Podcast. This is your host, Doctora Yvette. What inspired this episode, aside from real talk, me not having a lot of time to record this episode, is the fact that this weekend I delivered a workshop called Thriving in Community to a group of graduate students at UC Davis, and there was an entire section dedicated to this, dedicated to sharing strategies of micro acts of community care. By that, I mean acts of community care that you can get done in 10 minutes or less. And so I'm going to be sharing some of that information that I shared in the workshop with you here. So that way, at the end of these 10 minutes, there's something that you can do right now to show your community that love and care that you have for them. So the first one is to give micro affirmations. These are the opposite of microaggressions. This is you telling someone, I see you, I hear you, I understand you, I affirm you. It's really showing up for someone and letting them know that you appreciate them. The second act of community care you can do right now is to genuinely compliment someone. And I needed to add the genuine piece because I don't want you to just offer empty compliments to people. It really has to come from the heart. And so if you notice something about someone, ideally it's not a physical compliment. Ideally it's something about them, their demeanor, their characteristics, their traits, their personality. But you know what? Every now and then, I guess it is okay to share something like, I really like that lip color. I really like those earrings. I really like that pin you're wearing. I really like that suit. But again, I tend to prefer the other types of compliments more so than the physical compliments. So compliment someone genuinely, that's always appreciated. Number 3 is share a resource. This is probably one of my favorite ways of showing my community that I care. This podcast is a resource. I constantly create resources for people. My blog is a resource. My email newsletter is a resource. And then in my email inbox, that is all I do is sharing resources. And I love when people share resources with me too, especially my academic friends who send me articles that they think I would enjoy reading because they know that I don't have access to academic databases in the same way that I did before. So go ahead and be generous with your resource sharing. Number 4 is similar to the sharing of resources, but in this case, it's sharing opportunities. This is amazing. Every time that you see something and you think, you know what, this might be great for someone else, go ahead and share it. Maybe it's a job posting. Maybe it's someone's looking for someone to interview. Maybe it's someone's looking for a speaker at some event, or maybe it's someone needs a volunteer to do X, Y, and Z. Whatever it is, if there is an opportunity and you think of someone who might benefit from it, share that opportunity with them. Number 5 is to simply text a friend to let them know that you're thinking of them and to say hi. I am the type of person, I still struggle with this. I feel like I bug people when I reach out to them, and I'm working on it. And I'm working to remind myself that anytime I think about a friend, it's completely okay to just text them to say hi. And in fact, it's not just okay. I want to encourage it because it is a way to nurture your relationships. It is part of networking and building community. You want folks to know that you're thinking of them, and you don't want to just be the person that reaches out when you need something from someone. You want to express that you care for others. And obviously, it has to be real. It has to be real connections. But when folks come to mind, let them know you're thinking of them. Number 6 is similar to the texting, but in a different format, to consider sending a voice note and to check in with someone that you love. I guess maybe it's because I am a podcaster, but I receive a lot of voice notes from my friends. And similarly, I send a lot of voice notes. And I just really, really appreciate it when people do that. I had a meeting recently where I broke down in front of some of my friends that are part of a collective. I was just really having a hard time with my chronic illnesses and with some of my flare-ups. And, they noticed that I was quieter in my check-in. And then near the end, someone asked, "Hey, how are you doing? How are you holding up?" And that's when I kind of broke down in front of them. And after that meeting ended, one of my friends who was in that meeting reached out, sent me a couple text messages, and sent me a voice memo just to let me know, "I hear you, I see you, I feel you, you're doing amazing work." And that was like multiple types of community care in one text. It was a text and a voice memo, but also she was affirming me, letting me know that I was heard. So that meant so much to me. And you can offer that to others as well. Number 7 is engaging in any small act of kindness. This can mean anything. This is pretty versatile. It could be something as little as letting someone cut in front of you in line at the grocery store, to something else, like in my case, maybe sending a handwritten note to a friend, or whatever it is that is feasible for you and accessible for you to do in a relatively short period of time. Engage in that act of kindness. In fact, we benefit a lot from acts of kindness. It actually boosts our mood and our mental health to regularly engage in acts of kindness. Number 8 is to connect others. And by this, I mean, if you know folks that you think, wow, it'd be really great to put them in touch with one another, go ahead and do that. And then, of course, I have to warn you against just sharing people's contact information without their consent. Obviously, you want to ask before you connect people, "Hey, I know someone who might benefit from meeting you. Is it okay if I share your email with them?" And then, of course, once they give you that consent, go ahead and connect them to one another. I have benefited a lot from people doing this for me, and it has opened up a lot of different types of opportunities for me, personal and professional. And similarly, I enjoy putting people in touch when I think, wow, these folks can support one another. I try to put them in touch with each other. Number 9 is to express gratitude for others' work. A lot of us, we put out offerings, we put our ofrendas, whether it's through our artistry, our writing, our performance work, our teaching, our service work. Like, there's just a lot that we do in terms of putting out something into the world. And it's always appreciated when folks reach out and express gratitude. And so this is my nudging you to reach out to someone that you admire, whose work has made an impact on you, and to reach out simply to say thank you for their work. That you'd be surprised how many folks actually respond positively and even respond back, even if it's someone with a big name that you're like, oh, they're never going to reply back. Again, you'd be surprised. And you know what? This actually reminds me of when I was a teenager. There was this band. I don't even remember what the name of the band was, but I went to their show and I went through a whole punk stage actually in middle school and high school. And that band really I don't know what it was about that show, but it was so meaningful to me that I went ahead and mailed them, because I had their address, a letter thanking them for the show. And I got a letter back from them, and it just meant so much to me. So make sure you express gratitude. And then the last act of community care I'm going to share with you is to take some time to be more mindful and to slow down, remain present, and engage in acts of active listening. So instead of thinking about what's the next thing that's going to come or being distracted by a phone or a computer, to set everything aside and start to think about, what is this person actually trying to communicate to me? Or even paraphrasing, summarizing what they're saying to you back at them, to let them know that you understand, or that you're trying to understand what they're telling you. That goes a long way, and people will start to notice. This is actually a coaching skill, to learn how to listen deeply and to learn how to become a better active listener. So if you start to do this now, of reminding yourself, I'm here for this person, I can be here in this moment now, and I don't have to worry about everything else that's happening after this. I will just focus on them. That will go a long way. That's it for the 10 acts of community care I wanted to share with you. I know there are countless more. It's limitless in terms of all the things that you can do to support your community. But I wanted to share with you this list so that there's something that you can do right now, today, to show your community, to show your friends, your family, your loved ones that you care. All right. I hope you found it helpful. And as always, I'll talk to you all next time. Thanks so much for listening. If you liked what you heard, here are 3 ways you can support the show. The first is to make sure you're subscribed and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. The second way is to get your copy of my free resource kit linked in my show notes. This kit includes tools, worksheets, and podcast playlists on all things grad school, productivity, and personal development. The third way to support my show is to follow me on social media. You can find me on Instagram with the handle @Grad School Femtoring, and on LinkedIn by searching my name. Thanks again for listening, and until next time.